One day, our beloved pink puffball was frolicking through Popstar, until he forgot to read a sign and plunged into a hole. And then he awoke in an area that totally inspired the opening cutscene to World of Light. The Great Cave. Some would even call it offensive. Hey guys, Saxdu26 here, and welcome back to Let's Double Play Kirby Superstar, with quite possibly the most infamous mode of this game. At bare minimum, it's the most infamous Smash Brothers stage. But you may be wondering, what is exactly at play here in the Great Cave? Well, thankfully we have a beginner room to cover that. Long story short, it is a hunt for treasure as we make our way through an interconnected cave to try and get back to the surface. 60 pieces of treasure in total, spread across 4 areas in what is by far the longest mode across either version of Superstar. And this treasure hunting mechanic actually pops up in a couple of other Kirby games too, off the top of my head, namely Amazing Mirror and Squeak Squad. I think there are elements of it in other ones, but those are the two that come to mind first. Regardless, there are some major improvements to keeping track of all of this treasure that definitely make the DS version a lot more accessible. And as such, considering this was the version I originally owned, I actually never had too much of a problem with this mode. Some of the treasure chests are an absolute pain to get to, but that's the case across both versions. But we'll go through what makes the DS version a lot more accessible as we go through the cave. Lovely to see that it hasn't lost its sense of humor, that's for sure. So, we're here in the cave, we've got 60 treasures to find. Where are we headed to first? Subtree, lovely. First copy ability we're getting is Spider. I am not complaining, thank you very much. Up there. Come on, Kirby. Please, focus. Lovely. First treasure is the gold medal. That's 10,000 gold already. And as you'll be noticing, the more treasure we find, the higher that gold counter will go. Basically, we want to try and get as close to 1 million as we possibly can by the time we get out of here. Second item is a gold coin, and as it showed in the tutorial, all of the treasures show up in this little treasure box here, and each area on the map has its own dedicated section in the treasure chest. A really good quality of life improvement that makes it much easier to track treasures compared to in the SNES version. And a couple of treasures have actually been updated for Superstar Ultra because of the fact that some of them reference games that came out in between. There's the whip. Lovely. Okay. Of course, don't hit that bomb block because that's got lava in it. And we don't want to lock ourselves out of that treasure chest. Thankfully, a lot of the doors are two-way, which means if we need to backtrack, we can. I actually did want wing, so I'm gonna, if I could please, I swallowed the food the bird on dropped. That wasn't what I was going for, but there we go. Wing is definitely a good option to go through here with. Namely for that, and then it, and then up. Oops, I want to go there. Very close, not quite. Close, but not quite. There. There we go, much better. Crystal ball, thank you very much. 200,000, thank you. Whoop. Okay, into the water. Out of the way, squishy. Out of the way, squishy. Flap up here. Grab a couple of biscuits. Lucky cat. Lovely. Okay. Through some more water, more squishies, and just before I go through that door, let me make sure there weren't any treasure chests up here. I think that's mostly just a loop around. Lovely. Okay, next section, let's go. Ah, this one. Lovely. So what I want to do, avoid the waddle goo. That's one way of doing it. And there we go. Okay. There we go. Seiryu sword, lovely. Kinda looks like the one that one of the mini bosses uses actually. We'll get to that when we get up to that boss. Where's the treasure chest up here? No, I think it's on the other side of the memory. There we go. Ichigo candy, lovely, strawberry favorite, my favorite. Now, first checkpoint area. Good for saving, good for healing up. Let's keep going. Next is, lovely. Pancakes. And another treasure chest. Screw attack, lovely! Samus probably wants that, we shouldn't hold on to that. Alrighty, now this area I think is, blocked off from that end, so we gotta break those blocks off there. So, if we go bada boom, hang on. Bada boom, there we go. And I think we can also get that one up. Lovely. I'm gonna grab Kirby now, because we are going to need it later, so it's good to get it early. Through the water we go. Pudding. Thank you. Not gonna need helpers right away, but later down the track they will definitely be handy. Can I... Oh, whoops, I should have actually got that on the other side first. Not a problem. We got a shortcut I can go back through. If that Bronto bird stops grabbing me. And now I can just go back in and grab it. Thank you. What was that? The Phantom Mask. From Super Mario Bros. 2. Or from the opera, either or. Alright, next up. Bonkers. Okay, what I want to do is not rely on copy abilities, because I don't want to blow up the blocks under you, because I actually want Hammer. Hammer's actually pretty good to have here. Come on, whoop. Come on, Bonkers. Oh, no. Completely missed that coconut. Thank you. Really don't want to kill Bonkers in a pit, because not all pits are necessarily worth opening up in that fashion. Okay, back up we go. Cannon. Lovely. Starstone. Honestly, the Starstone, I'm not sure what its exact origin is, but it honestly reminds me of the superstar from Yoshi's Island that turns Baby Mario into Super Baby Mario with a cape. I'm not sure if that's its exact origin, but it reminds me of that, unless it's a reference to Hamtaro. I feel like there are Starstones in Hamtaro. Beast Fang, not even sure if that's a Pokemon reference, but I always think of the Dragon Fang whenever I see it. Some references are to other Nintendo properties, and others are just sheer coincidence. That one's always one I've been very uncertain about. Alrighty, next up, ooh, we do need cutting here, so I am going to grab it. Yeah, let's not aggravate Smira if we can avoid it. Attack is going to cause all kinds of problems. I just don't want him stealing colour from me, if we can avoid it. Thank you. The bandana! Honestly reminds me of the bandana that Kirby gets when he uses Spear in some of the later games. Mostly because of the star on the top of it. And I think this will be the last one? Yes! Season's Heart, a combination of summer, autumn, winter, and spring, which originally were 4 different treasures in the original Superstar, but have been combined into one so that they could add in a couple more cameo treasures in some later areas. Honestly, Cut is probably good for the first boss. But yeah, because we got all the treasures in Subtree, there's now a medal next to it. And look! It's Fatty Whale! He has returned from Float Islands! No longer is he sending us up to the Kabula fight. Well, at least in the original Dreamland, and totally the advanced fan game remake that someone made on GameCube, which is amazing. But yeah, in my little headcanon, this guy is the same whale that sends Kirby up to fight Kabula in Kirby's Dreamland. I'm just glad to know I'm not alone in that. But yeah, Fatty Whale can be a bit problematic. If you inhale the rocks that he drops at you, you can get stoned, which is pretty neat. But honestly, guarding and avoiding a lot of his belly flop attacks is the best way to deal with him. He's a fun roly-poly kind of guy. He hasn't been in very many other games, honestly, so it's pretty cool for how unique he is. With that, he goes sploosh in the distance. So that's Subtree done. Let's heal up and hop on a minecart. Beep beep, out of my way! I am a motorist. You cannot stop the curb. Okay. So next we head to the Crystal Caves, which we actually saw on the title screen, and I love the aesthetic of the Crystal area. It is amazing. Also the remix of the Green Greens music. Love it. Absolutely love it. Dime. 10 gold for 10 cents. I'm pretty sure that's how that calculates. I know there are a couple of items that sort of establish what the gold to G exchange rate is in Great Cave Offensive. I'm not sure if I'm gonna add that as an edit into this playthrough or the co-op one, but regardless, I am going to address it at some point for a conversion rate, just because it's weird and I've always thought about it. Well, we found Cinderella's glass slipper, so that's something. Now, you get out of my way. First things first, let's stop at the rest station. Thank you very much. Also, speaking of Smash Brothers, this is the rest music that they play in All-Star mode. Yeah, came from Kirby Superstar. Regardless, we are here in Crystal. First area. I don't actually need Cutter. I think I need Bomb more than anything. So, get that chest first. Little goblet, lovely. Sure. Make my job easier for me. I don't know how soon it is that we see the crash that we need. There we go. Good. Didn't want to lose that saucepan, which is of the same value as a dime. Good to know. Crash. Perfect. We need that to hit the switch. Kablamo. The level of glow up that Crash gets in some of the other games is amazing. Brass Knuckles. Lovely. But I don't have Fighter at the moment, so I can't necessarily use it. Imagine Kirby just dressed up with Brass Knuckles, ready for a street brawl. Amber Rose. Not to be confused with the music artist. That is a music artist, isn't it? Regardless, it's a rose coated in amber. Boom, lovely. Now we've actually got something to work with. Now I want to go through this middle path first from memory. Yes. There is wind. There is nothing hidden. In the door, Kirby. Lovely. Now, do you want the fish fossil? Or do you want the beast fossil? Welcome to Mount Moon. Praise be to Helix. I mean, technically a Kabuto is not necessarily a fish nor a beast, but an Omanyte's closer to being a fit. I don't know, actually. They're kind of both close to being both. I don't know. Probably closer to one of the other generation's fossils, to be fair. Hello, Puppet Rose! It is good to see you, but I have presents and treasure to find. Machine parts! Lovely, one of the new cameos, representing the Hydra legendary machine from Kirby's Air Ride. Very, very nice cameo, I do love it. So I think that's this room done now. So we can just hop through the door and head to the next area. Ah, yes, the water section. I remember this gave Matt and I a fair bit of trouble, but thankfully... Ooh, actually, yo-yo is an option. Although jet, tempting. Both are actually good options, but I think... you know what? I'll give jet the benefit of the doubt, and we'll see how we go. What I really need right now, though, is food to heal. So... it's weird. I can't decide whether I prefer Capsule J1 or Capsule J2's design, because I mean Twin B, but at the same time, Capsule J2 looks amazing. There it is, a bucket. It is worth 200G. I have always thought that it is a reference to Harvest Moon. I am not sure if that is actually correct, but it has an M on it, so that's why I have always made that assumption. I am probably wrong in every place where I think some of the non-Kirby items are a reference to. But nevertheless, I like to educate myself on these things. You... want me to die? I'm not in the mood for that. We go there. There we go. Maxim Tomato. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Lovely. Okay. This part actually is probably better now that I've got Jet. There we go. Great for when you get a tomato and then immediately hurt yourself. Lovely. There. Whoop. Up. Nearly mucked that up. Perfect. The Power Paintbrush, another cameo from the delightful world of Kirby Canvas Curse, which, funnily enough, on the Australian eShop, a lot of the power releases are all given their European names, but Kirby Canvas Curse was called Kirby Canvas Curse in Australia. I think it's because Australia for the Kirby games used the Canadian PAL titles, which is basically, it has the European changes, but it has the American name. Same thing with Squeak Squad. We got Squeak Squad, not Mass Attack. $100 coin. $100 is corresponding to 10,000 gold. Lovely. So it's a 1 in 100 exchange rate. Good to know. Last area. I think there should be a wheelie, so we should be able to get Wheelie Rider. Oh, excuse me, Tack. Give me back my jet, thank you. Lovely. Falcon! Helmet from F-Zero. I want a wheelie to ride on, thank you very much. Except now, whoop, no, apparently not. Does anybody else want to give me a copy ability? Sure, we'll take a copy and we'll see what we can do with it. That was dumb. But what was past it? An ancient gem. Not sure what that's in a reference to. There are so many games with teardrop-shaped gems in them. That could be from anything. Don't know exactly which thing it would be from. For all I know, that might also be a Hamtaro reference, if I'm actually correct in that. Yeah, I can't use copy to get copy. So, I'm just gonna not bother. Is there another tack around here somewhere? Being a pain in the tail? Apparently not. Fine, I'll go with wheel itself. Hello, Tack. Goodbye, Tack. There we go. I love that skip. That is the fact that it actually damages the ground is really cool. Okay. Cell phone. Another exclusive reference to Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Fitting considering... Oh! Excuse me! Excuse me! Very fitting considering Amazing Mirror also had treasure in it. I like that. That is a very nice nod. Now, I don't think there was anything down yet. No, just another attack and a poppy grow. Wheelie Rider's really good for this mode. Nobody tell me otherwise. Alright, go! Can't get past the spikes. Careful. That actually went better than expected. Truth Mirror. Now, I always thought that one was a reference to Majora's Mask, but the Mirror of Truth doesn't look a thing like that. But regardless, with that, we now have all of the treasures in Crystal Caves as well. Awesome. Okay. Now, what do we want? I don't think Wheel is the best option. I think Fighter is. Wheelie's still going to be good, so I'm going to keep him around for funsies. And so, who are we up against? A brand new mini-boss. The Computer Virus. Or Computer Windows, depending on which version you're playing. First off, we're fighting against the Dragon Quest Slime. Unless it's Slime Son, but to be fair, he's an indie, so I don't think it is. Unless it's Salvo the Slime from Yoshi's Island. No, it's just a slime. It's just a slime, and he shoots stars at us. I do like that they give us the option to change copy ability during the fight, though. That's very nice. Nothing happens. Boom! One enemy down. Next up is a puppet. I think it was called a doll in the original, actually. He screams, and nothing happens. That could have been way better. He starts dancing! Lovely. Nicely done, Wheelie. And now, the Magician! The one that is most commonly associated with this boss. And heavily ramps up the damage output. This is where the boss fight really begins. Also uses ice, which is fun. And stars, always good. So close, on a sliver of health. Cast the guard spell. Nicely done, Wheelie. Kirby and his friend beat all the enemies. We gained experience points, not that it matters. Ice Sparkle went up by 5. Roundness went up by 4, squishiness went up by 2, maturity went up by 1, sincerity went up by 4, and friendship went up by 1. And yet to this day, Team Kirby Clash is the closest to an actual Kirby turn-based RPG that we have received since the Computer Virus. And it references all of those things, which I love. Hey, come on, Wheelie. It's minecart time. Out of my way! Hello, Gip. Goodbye, Gip. Hello, Gip. Run over all of the piggies. Alrighty. So, this area has quite the infamy to it. The exit is right here. So if you're feeling speedy and don't want to go for all the treasure, you can skip it right away. Thankfully, they put the save point here.